Hey guys, it's Al again. Welcome to my spoiler-free review of Devil May Cry 5. Now, Devil May Cry came out just a couple of weeks ago, and I've got the PlayStation 4 version, so that's the version I will be reviewing. All of the gameplay and visuals you will see from this review are from Mission 1 of the game, so you're not exactly going to see many spoilers on that front. As always, we're going to take a look at the graphics, the story. This is a modern game, so voice acting and the gameplay. And we're going to see how it all comes together and if it's worth buying or if you should wait until it's free on the PSN. Let's start by talking about the graphics. While you're playing in gameplay, the graphics are great. There's no breaking. You're not going to have any issue with skipped frames, nothing. It looks fantastic during the gameplay. My only issues with the graphics, there are two that occasionally come during cutscenes. There's a couple of faces that occasionally don't look quite right to me. One is Nico, who is in the driver's seat there next to Nero. Her face most often was the one that just didn't look right. Everybody else's in the game looked right for the most part. There were a couple very specific spots where Dante's didn't look quite right, but those were very specific facial expressions, and they only happened once or twice throughout the game. So, not a big deal. There's the part that might bug the most people is there are a couple of spots where you'll notice very clearly that the movement of the lips do not match up to what the character is saying. It's like watching an old Godzilla movie, which I personally like. I like those old dubbed Godzilla movies, but not everybody will, so that's going to be a little bit of a hang-up for some people, I think. Although it only happens a couple of times throughout the show or throughout the game, so it's not that big of a deal, I don't think. But that said, it is there. Okay, let's take a quick aside and talk about a personal thing of mine, and that is the voice acting. I love continuity in voice actors. I love it when you get the same voice actors to do voices over multiple series or games. And in this case, Nero's the same guy. Dante's the same guy that did Devil May Cry 4, that did the animated series, and he may have done 3 as well. I am not sure. But either way, it's the same guy that's been in the last couple games and the animated series. So I love that continuity. Nero's the same guy. Again, I love that continuity. I'm not sure if Trish and Lady are the same. They may be, but they don't have enough spoken lines to really notice if they're not. So I think for the most part, all of the returning characters, they got the same voice actors, and I love that. All the voice actors do a great job. There's one character whose voice I'm not a great fan of, but that's not to say the voice actor did a bad job. I just don't necessarily think that voice matched that character. And regrettably, I can't tell you who that is because that would lead to a spoiler for later in the game. But you'll probably figure it out when you hear it if you're anything like me on voice acting, if our tastes are anywhere near aligned. Before I move on and talk about the story of the game, I just want to take a second here and enjoy the upcoming gag at the bottom of the screen. I don't know if they meant it as a gag or if it's actually a literal disclaimer, but I did get a kick out of it as soon as they switch out of the van here. This game does not promote smoking or the use of cigarettes. I literally laughed out loud the first time I saw that. I got a kick out of it after all the emphasis in the cutscene before on Nico's smoking. Okay, moving on. Talking about the story. It's what you would expect from a Devil May Cry story. Big bad, threatens the world. Dante and crew have to stop him. How are they going to do that? Is it going to be too much for him? Yada, yada, yada. Of course, there's stuff about Sparta thrown in there because there's always going to be. There's Nero's got his own storyline that comes in there, and Nero actually grows as a character throughout this, and Nero's character is definitely far improved over 4, which was awesome. It was nice to actually like Nero instead of seeing him as just a whiny guy who didn't know his place. But he was actually a pretty good character in this one. Much improved over 4, and I look forward to him being even more improved in future games. But yeah, it's what you would expect. If you like Devil May Cry's story, you're going to like this one. If you think Devil May Cry's story is relatively thin, well, you're not going to see much that's going to change your mind here. I personally enjoyed the story, especially V's angle in it. It kept me coming back and wanting to know what was going on with the guy. Dante at this point's established. You know what his angle on stuff is going to be. Not any surprises with him. Nero's character is improved. Still basically the same guy, but much, much improved. And he's got a very interesting arc. And that hand of his also is a very interesting game mechanic, which we'll talk about in just a second here when we talk about gameplay. But yeah, the story is decent. It's not the deepest story you're going to find, but it's also not a complete house of cards either. All right, let's get on with it here and talk about the gameplay. This is what we come to Devil May Cry for. Most of us don't come here for the story, although we may enjoy it. This game is all about the gameplay. It's about crazy combos and destroying demons. And you will not be disappointed with this game on that front. There are hordes of unlockable skills for all 3 of the characters. Skills, weapons, you name it, you can unlock them, and you can do some crazy things in this game. Again, if you're a Devil May Cry fan, this game is going to hit all the right buttons for you. If you've never played a Devil May Cry game before, the gameplay will not disappoint. It absolutely won't. It is fluid. The Devil Breaker, which is Nero's arm, that brings some very interesting ideas to it. You can equip different arms, which can all do different things. You can also choose to destroy the arm, causing an explosion, causing some enemies to back away from you. But you lose that arm, and you have to go to the next one in your inventory. So yeah, it's a very interesting mechanic. I probably didn't make as good a use of it as I could have, and I'm definitely looking forward to subsequent playthroughs to try out more aspects of the arms. But yeah, it is very fun. It's addictive gameplay. You can get yourself lost in it. I have to admit, I'm not a fan of all of the weapons you can pick up, but especially Dante's, when you start getting weapons for him, some of those are just insane. And there is one specific one that, again, I won't spoil it for you, but just the way he gets it is insane, and is probably my favorite cutscene of the game, or one of them, if not the favorite cutscene, when he gets this weapon. And it is just, it's hilarious. I played that level really late at night, and I had to try to not laugh loud enough at it to wake my roommates, because I found it hilarious. So gameplay's great, story's great. Yep. All right, I've got to get better at these transitions and not use yeps at the end of them. Yep. All right, anyway, I got to work on that. But this is the part of the review where I give it a grade. For anybody that's never seen one of my reviews before, I grade a little differently than other reviewers might. I tell you, is this a game you should get at full price? Is this a game you should wait for a discount? Is it a rental? Or should you just stay away? This is a game, especially if you're a Devil May Cry fan, I would say get it at full price. Why don't you already have it? You will not be disappointed if Devil May Cry is a game you like, or a series you like rather, or if you like action games in general. You will not be disappointed with this game. If they're not your thing and you're just curious about it, I would say in that case, wait for a discount. This is not a game that's likely to be a Game of the Year contender. So if you don't get it right away, you're not missing out on a lot if you wait for a discount. But overall, this is a game that I think will keep you coming back for more. I know I'm looking forward to doing subsequent playthroughs of this game, challenging the harder difficulties, checking out some of the other skills that I wasn't able to unlock in my first run through. So yeah, it'll definitely keep me coming back for more. I think it'll keep a lot of you coming back for more as well. Word is that there's going to be a DLC for it that'll put the Bloody Palace in, which will be even more replayability there once the Bloody Palace gets going. So yeah, I suggest you go get it at full price. If you're not a fan of DMC and you want to wait for a discount, you can probably do that without missing much. But if you like the DMC series, if action games are your thing, absolutely go get it at full price. That's my personal recommendation. And thanks for joining me, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this review. I hope it was informative, and I did my best to keep it all spoiler-free, or as spoiler-free as possible. I should note this was all from Mission 1 of the game, and I was playing on human difficulty. I finished a run-through of the normal difficulty or Devil Hunter difficulty before doing this review, and I totally intend on going back and doing run-throughs in the higher difficulties, if for no other reason to check out some of the other costumes and powers you get to unlock. Thanks for joining me, everybody. This has been Al. I'll see y'all next time.